You may not like it, but this is the truth. Singapore is not that friendly to the middle class foreigners like before. Just a few days ago, Singapore raised the tax rate for the foreigner to purchase house from 30% to 60%, which means if you buy a $1 million house in Singapore, of course, $1 million, you definitely cannot buy a condo, right? Let's say just $1 million. Previously, you just need to pay 300K for the tax. Now you have to pay 600K. And buying properties is just one factor of living cost. There are actually a lot of other factors of your living cost. Therefore, in this video, I'm going to break down the several sectors for the living cost and what are the thoughts. So I believe for most of the people, the salary is around 45K. And I believe for those people themselves, they may figure out, wow, why I cannot save money? Well, first of all, the big part, which is the rent. If you know, the rent is skyrocketing over the past 2 to 3 years. When a lot of Chinese over the past years, they come to Singapore, just the house price just got skyrocketed. And that's the reason why the government needs to raise the tax rate, especially for the foreigners. So right now, the most economy way, of course, is to rent a whole either apartment or an HDB. Then you share with one or two other roommates. So usually the price, I would say, the lower price will be around 1.5K. Of course, you may argue you can live in the rural area, or you can just share your room with someone else to just reduce the rent. Of course, that works, but that will make your life uncomfortable. And taking the example that I'm currently living, which is in Pinnacle at Duxton, currently the 1,000 square feet HDB is around $6,000 per month for the rent. So taking an average, which is around 2K per person. And next is the income tax. If you make around 4K per month, which is around 50K per year, so your tax in total per year will be 12K, which is around $100 per month. And next is food. So on average, if you take your breakfast for $3 and one meal just for $8, and you just drink one tank of Coke, for example, at a hawker center, which is $1, which means 2 times 8, which is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So your daily expense on the food is $20, and there are 30 days a month, which is $600 per month. But you just can't always eat at hawker center, especially in the weekends. For young people, you have to hang out with your friends, right? You have to go to some restaurants, and restaurants can easily take like 20, 30, 50 bucks per meal. So I would say spending an extra $400 on food is very reasonable. So 1 month, the expense on food will be around $1,000. And if you don't take any taxi, you just take the MRT. So let's say one way to your office is $1.5. So one working day will be $3. And let's say there are 20 working days, then there will be 60. And also you have groceries like yogurt, toothpaste, toilet paper, etc. I put $200. I think this is quite, low amount. Like for me, I eat a lot of fruit. So yeah, definitely more than this amount. And there's insurance. So some people might argue, hey, your insurance is actually covered by your company. But different people have different views. Personally, I have 3 different types of insurance. I think insurance is really important. And if you count water, electricity, and gas every month, I would say around $60. And also your data plan, maybe $15 to $20. Therefore, to sum all these values up, if you want to live in a kind of comfortable way as a foreigner, you have to spend more than $3,000, which may be around $3,500 per month. Therefore, if your salary is just 4K, you can actually save nothing. And for young people, the risk tolerance is very, very high. Your parents are not elder enough for you to take care of. You don't have children. You don't have to pay their tuition fees. Therefore, 4K might just be the bare survival value for you. But when you grow older, if you don't have any savings, you cannot survive. For most of the young people, they're actually working for 2 parties. One is your company, boss, who will give you the salary. And second is your landlord. Therefore, for those middle class who only makes around $45,000 per month, they have to think about other ways because this is definitely not sustainable. Alright, then let's talk about the rich people, right? Those billionaires. As we know, over the past few years, a lot of Chinese, they were moving to Singapore. And just as a tradition, whenever Chinese move to another place, they will first purchase the properties, purchase the houses. For those billionaires, do they really care about the price? Definitely no. $1 billion equals to $1,000 million. $10 million is nothing for them. So what they do is they will either purchase the entire floor, or some of them will even purchase the whole building. Therefore, that really disrupts the housing market in Singapore over the past few years. And let me tell you something more about the rich people. So back in China, the highest income tax rate is 45%. So let's do a rough estimation here. Let's say the annual compensation for those billionaires, those CEOs, are $10 million. All right, that's not actually a lot. And 45% tax rate minus 20% tax rate in Singapore, which is 25% tax rate, which means they can save 25% of their annual income. So $10 million times 25%, which is $2.5 million, which means every year they are able to save $2.5 million. And $2.5 million, you can definitely purchase a very good quality condo in Singapore each and every year. So that's the big reason why there are so many Chinese billionaires to transfer their nationality and move to Singapore. I know a lot of people, they might argue, hey, I can actually save a lot of money, right? I can eat chicken rice every day. I can just share my room with 2 more roommates to reduce my rent. You can also squeeze in the MRT each and every day and take 1 hour to your work. You can always do that. But that will make your life really uncomfortable. And believe me, that can easily make you tired and also even cause you disease. And if you visit a doctor, that will spend you unimaginable amount of money. Not to mention, a lot of young people nowadays, they like purchase fancy stuff like shoes, clothes, nice quality watch, and sometimes they want to travel to other countries, and that's also a big amount of money. So for those middle class who cannot save a lot of money, they should really think about how to increase their value, how to increase their salary at the very first stage. And then they can think about how to do the investment, how to make their money compound. Whenever there's a place go too much competition, it's not a good news for the middle class, especially for the foreigners. Life is hard and challenging, but we should always be hopeful. All the best and see you in the next video.